Hello and welcome to the upper deck. I'm Lynn. Next to me is Ciara. I'm smiling so that I don't cry. And we have so much to talk about. None of it good. None of it even close to good. And let's just we usually start with the trivia question of the week. We'll get to that second this time because let's just get this out of the way. So, Ciara, your face said it all.
I
Good
hate it.
morning, and go ahead. You're not alone.
I don't even understand where they pulled this lineup from. Like, what analytical jackass made this lineup? I'm sorry. We have two, maybe three people who can hit the ball right now, and that's Dominguez, who isn't in this lineup, who finally got the chance to be a leadoff hitter, which a lot of us have been calling for since the beginning of the season. And when he did that, he hit 2 home runs. I just want to throw that out there. Had a great day offensively. Jazz is on the bench. Jazz, who has actually been decent since coming off the IL, has been the last 7 games has been contributing in a way that other people are not. And Judge continues to hit. So those are the 3 people that should be in this lineup consistently. And I don't see 2 of them. Instead, I see Paul Goldschmidt leading off, who is struggling right now, right? He had a great first half or first couple months. He hasn't looked the same since June 1st. Trent Grisham turned back into a pumpkin. I don't know why he is hitting second right now. I don't know why he was leading off yesterday. Stanton, I love him more than anybody on this team, but he should not be hitting 4th right now. He should at least be 5th. To me, every single day right now, it should be Dominguez, Bellinger, Jazz, or Judge, Jazz, like in some type of order like that, because those are the only 4 that are consistent. And even Belly is kind of up and down. Anthony Volpe needs to sit his ass on the bench. I don't know why he's in this lineup. DJ, I'm not even going to hate on him right now because at least he can get on base.
Yes.
Austin Wells, you can send him to Guantanamo Bay at this point. I don't even care. And same with Oswald Peraza. I don't even know why he's on this team. This is a joke. The problem is that the Yankees were in first place for so long in the AL East against a weak AL East team until we actually faced the AL East. We got swept by the Blue Jays. We got swept by the Red Sox. And guess what? Now we're in 3rd place. The Toronto Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays are in front of us. And Cashman and Hal and Aaron Judge do not seem to have any sense of urgency to fix this team. And this lineup is just a huge slap in the face. And I can't. It's horrible. It's disgusting. And I just want it erased from my memory.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's the show. All tied up in a neat bow. Oh my God, Ciara, everybody that's joined us in the chat agrees with you, as does your partner sitting next to you. Let's do some roll call because we need these people surrounding us right now. So Lori, Jonathan, good to have you every week. Jake, great to see you. Jordan, so good to have you. Yep, punt lineups of lineups is right. And Lou and Yolo, and we got the Raikia channel and Shayna. Shayna's the little ray of sunshine in the chat right now. Good morning, Lynn and Ciara. Shayna, you bring the sunshine. Thank you. Keep it going because there's a lot of dark clouds around us right now. And I don't see them breaking, but I'm going to keep looking at you, Shayna. All right, so we got the lineup out of the way, and like Lori said somewhere along the way, she said sweep, and yeah, this pretty much, like, I say this all the time. I've said this a lot of times, but this just makes me feel like there's a conspiracy, guys. I think Hal's favorite movie is Major League, and he's decided that he's going to undermine this team, so that someone will buy it for a lot of money and take it away from him or something, because none of this makes any kind of sense. Make it make sense. I don't think anyone can. So let's just take a breath for a minute, even though this is not going to make anyone take a breath. So thank you, Spencer. Spencer gave us a great question last week. We apologize that we went on the air last week. That was all me, a little bit of a family issue. Everything's fine. But we just couldn't get on area last week. And thank you for being back and remembering to come back. So anyway, here's the trivia question of the week. Clark Schmidt is likely heading toward a second Tommy John surgery. The namesake of that surgery had his in 1974, 5 years before he became a Yankee. What team was Tommy John playing for when he had that season-ending injury? And so we got some good guesses coming in the chat, and we will give you the answer at the end of the show. All right.
I just want Tommy John to know that I hate him. I hate his guts and I hate his surgery, and that's how I feel about it.
Yep, and that's really Tommy John. I hope you're not listening. It's nothing personal, but you started it. you started it, and we're just gonna blame you because we have nowhere else to turn right now. So Sierra, you're making me go in the rearview mirror. So let's do it.
I don't even know what we're looking back at. We haven't won a game since Sunday, June, whatever that date was. I thought maybe when the calendar flipped to July 1st, the Yankees would like remember how to play baseball, but that hasn't happened. We're on a 6-game losing streak right now, which we're tied for our highest streak this season. We've already had a 6-game losing streak in mid-June from the 13th through the 18th, and we're doing it again. We just got swept by the Blue Jays. Like, what was that all about? And we're 1 game away from being swept by the Mets, who we swept earlier this season, let me remind you guys. So,
oh yeah.
now all of a sudden we don't know how to play them. All of a sudden Soto remembers how to play baseball against us because when we played in Yankee Stadium, he went like 0 for 10. And now we're getting killed by him and Alonso and Jeff McNeil of all people. Like, we should have lit up Frankie Montas yesterday, and we didn't. That was probably the most disappointing part of watching them play yesterday is they didn't take advantage and light up Montas. So, and then in the first game, on the 4th, we had the lead, but our bullpen imploded once again because for whatever reason, nothing is going right for this team. It's either the starting pitchers just have their worst outings ever, the bullpen implodes, or our offense doesn't show up, or if none of that's happening, our defense forgets how to play. Because we have freaking Anthony Volpe, aka US Airmail, over there playing shortstop. We have, I don't know what that throw was from Wells yesterday, that snap throw to third where Jazz was nowhere near third base. Like, do I like the urgency? Yeah, sure. But Jazz wasn't even near third base. So I don't know what the thought process was there. And he's lucky Jazz was paying attention and got the ball. We got lucky the one time when Jazz overthrew the ball to DJ LeMahieu at second base, but DJ's heads up thinking was able to tag Ronnie Mauricio out because he kept running. Like, I don't know what this team is doing. We're playing bad defense. We're not showing up offensively. Our pitching just isn't there. Luke Weaver is broken. Completely broken. I don't know what has happened since he came off the IL, but he's turned into Devin Williams, and now they both can't pitch. I need the Yankees to shuffle the deck and do something here because as I look in the rearview mirror, I kind of just want to cry.
Absolutely. I feel like I am driving away from like my home for the very first time, and I don't know when I'm going to see my home folk again. And I'm crying on the highway, and I'm listening to really bad like 80s music and just crying, tears just nonstop down. Because I don't want to quit them. I don't want to quit them, but they're making it so hard. And I'm sorry, could I just, Lori, we even struggled with a man named Dickie Lovely. I missed that. I missed that. And Montas had to look good. What's that all about? And we're letting go of guys. It's another example. We're letting go of somebody else who's probably going to go and squat like a rock star in Baltimore. Alan Jackson's gone. We hardly knew ye. So this is like, I really didn't want to look back, but we have to come to terms so that we can look forward. And Lori saying, I'm not giving this team 1 more cent. Yeah, I have no cents left to give. I have plenty of what's left to give. They start with the letter F, but let's just move on. Let's move on to those hot topics. Okay. So I started with Tommy John, and by the way, that question was not from Spencer. That was from me, because I wanted to honor Spencer by keeping it topical. And so this is the hot topic: this Tommy John thing. Sierra's already written Tommy John off the planet for starting it. What is this? Is it an MLB epidemic? Is it a Yankee curse? Are Am I just feeling it because of the string of them lately? And also, when I looked back, there, if Schmidt goes out on Tommy John, which it's, I mean, let's face it, he is. Let's just say that so we could be pleasantly surprised. I'm not saying it to curse him, but we're all smart people here. So that'll be the second time in his career. The first time was when he was still a prospect. So, like, I mean, he was injured when we got him. So, and now he's going for times two. That makes 13 pitchers and position players that have had Tommy John surgery while in our organization. Can you guys remember any of the position players that had Tommy John?
Dominguez had it last season.
Yep, Dominguez did. Didi did. Hicks
Glaber.
did. Glaber, yep, and Glaber I think was also in the minors.
Yeah, he was still a prospect.
Yeah, and we had also Didi, Hicks, Dominguez, and Glaber were the position players I saw. Remember Nathan Evaldi? He was with us, and we lost him for a year while we had him. J-Mo, Loizaga, Herman, Pineda, Heller, Caprileon. I don't even remember him. Are there other organizations this loaded with a role of Tommy John?
I think it's an MLB issue, not just a Yankee issue, but we're feeling it right now because we're in this horrible losing streak. Like, our team is not playing well. We haven't had starting pitching since the season started outside of Fried and Rodon because, Schmidt started on the IL. Heel started on the IL. Garrett Cole obviously isn't pitching for us this season, so we're feeling it more. The fact that it's Schmidt's second time having TJ is very concerning, and my heart goes out to him because who knows what the rest of his career looks like. Where I'm a little frustrated with the Clark Schmidt situation is there was a report that came out that Schmidt was experiencing tightness and a little bit of pain. He should have been sent for an MRI then. He should have been sat. There was no reason for him to pitch through any of this. So I don't know if that was Clark Schmidt being stubborn. I don't know if that was just the organization mishandling this. Either way, it's another injury that I feel like we could have avoided. I said the same thing about Luis Heel. I feel like if we didn't overpitch him last season, he wouldn't be in the situation he's in right now, all because we wanted to utilize him so much to get to the World Series that we didn't end up winning anyway. I feel like hindsight's a little, 2020 there, but unfortunately, I do think it's an MLB issue. I think there are more throwers in MLB than there are pitchers at this point. You don't have a lot of those old school pitchers who have multiple pitches. And, Egyptian Magician made a good call out in the comments too. We've introduced advanced analytics into every aspect of this game, and I think there's a time and a place for it. But when somebody's sitting on a computer telling a guy, well, if you spin the ball this way or you spin the ball that way, and now they're kind of going against their natural motion, and I feel like that's also hurting them. I think also other things have affected it. The pitch clock, guys had to adjust and figure out how to pitch with the pitch clock. So unfortunately, I don't think this epidemic is ending anytime soon, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not an MLB analyst. I'm just saying what I see with my own two eyeballs. And it's just sad to watch because not everybody recovers the same from Tommy John surgery. Some guys come back and they're perfectly fine, and some guys never pitch the same.
Right. And you can't even say Schmidt being an example that age helps in this situation. I think Cole has as good a chance of coming back just the way he was as a younger guy would. When you go with the thing about Schmidt being so young with his first one, and he's still young. He's still a young guy getting his second. So we absolutely that's going to be a concern. And was he hiding it? I think you're not in that clubhouse unless you want to tough it up and tough it out for fear of losing your spot or just the commitment you're finally in the pinstripes. And we also know it's the Rizzo complex, right? Unless you limp around that clubhouse and or like walk like Quasimodo around the clubhouse, everyone's going to think you're fine because no one is going to ask or check or notice, hey, you weren't locating so well today. What's going on? Why aren't where's your command? What's going on? And doing some checking, doing some proactive checking. Do they even like make sure they have a pulse before a game? I don't even know. So it's just it's maddening that it's maddening and it stinks whenever there's guys on the IL, but we're just hearing that it's this more than anything else. And don't call it elbow tightness anymore. We know what that means now. Come up with another term for trying to fake us out, because it all turns into something else and something much worse. And yeah, I fear saying it because I don't want to put it out in the universe. But you mentioned his name, so I think that levels the playing field for manifestation. Is Weaver next? Is Weaver that broken? Because
So Weaver's injury or IL stint was for his calf, right? So I don't know. I'm wondering if he's just not fully healed or if he like the league has adjusted to him when he came back and he needs to adjust to them. I don't know, but he just doesn't look good.
he doesn't. And, I can't rule out that, yeah, he went out for his calf, but it could have been something else. Or there could have been more than his calf. But that's what got out there, and it was his arm as well. Now I'm a conspiracy theorist. I apologize, but I can't help it. Now I have like Tommy John, not surgery, but syndrome. It's like it's holding me hostage right now too. So
listen, I'm gonna jump on the conspiracy train real quick because you mentioned Anthony Rizzo, and yesterday when Wells got hit in the head with on a backswing, and they were checking him for concussion, I had like war flashbacks to Anthony Rizzo. And the problem is, so with Anthony Rizzo, it got overlooked, right? And when you look back at it, it's like, oh wow, that guy really wasn't playing like himself for like 3 months and nobody noticed. Austin Wells is already struggling. So are we going to even notice if he has a concussion from getting hit in the head yesterday? Or is it just going to, whatever, we're just gonna ignore it.
Right. Well, the answer is B. They're going to ignore it. And hey, Mr. Met Killer. So good to see you. We love having people from other fan bases here, especially fellow New York fans. We just ask that you be courteous. That's all. It's Sunday. Try a little.
You know what I love about that comment? Going into this series, both teams were like 6 for their last 14. So you're just a bad team beating another bad team right now.
Yep. And by the way, the phrase is not laughing stocked. This isn't Pathmark. We're not stocking a shelf with laughter. It's laughing stock. Okay? There's a little tip for you with courtesy and respect. Okay. So so going back to this, I guess wait and see on Weaver. And I don't think Weaver. Who's our closer? Who's our closer?
We don't have one. That's the problem because Devin Williams ain't that guy. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody's Aunt Sally could come in and close today. I don't know, but Williams was looking a little bit better. Not so much. And Weaver, I think Weaver needs to sit. I think I'm hoping Weaver is like not an option today because he's going to go and figure it out. Not that anyone from the medical team is going to suggest that. And Yolo, I do want to put this up because you're 100% correct, and I appreciate your perspective here. So it's how they attack, which goes to your previous point about the velo and the push for the velo, and the channels don't help this because what do you see with each pitch? What their velocity is? It's less about the location and more about how many miles per hour each pitch is thrown, and that's what we look at for what prevails here. And the guys are being pushed and pressed to perform that way, so it's a problem, and I don't know what the answer is. Jordan, I know that's a rhetorical question, but no, we don't. No, we do not. And what we're getting in, which we'll get to in a little bit, we still probably don't.
Well, I did a little digging on the Tommy John surgery, just because I was curious, and this question is going to help me. So, what are the Yankees averaging the last couple of years regarding TJS? Is the number greater? Great question, because I dug it up. It's not great, but we don't have the most. So since 2020, the Cleveland Guardians have had 25 surgeries. The Padres have had 23. The Mets have had 21. The Yankees and the Rays have had 15. Cubs 15, Tigers 19, Twins 15. So
okay.
I don't know if that's Tommy John or if that's total surgeries, if I'm being completely honest with you, just because it doesn't seem to give me a full answer, but it's still interesting. Just I didn't realize Cleveland had that many injuries since 2020, but I guess I don't really pay attention to them, so it's good.
Yeah, I mean, why would we? Until they sweep us, which when are we seeing them next? Hey, Jared, good to see you.
Jared, my name is literally on the screen. How did you spell it wrong? It's literally right in front of you.
Where do we go next with that? Because in Hot Topics there really isn't anything hot that's like, oh, I'd love to talk about that because it's juicy and great.
I have one that I would like to pivot to, if that's okay. Because I'm sure the chat kind of feels the same way, but what is with the lack of accountability with this team? And it's like, it's the whole team. They get in front of the media and they're like, we're not playing bad. Volpe didn't make a bad throw. What were you guys watching? That throw was perfect. And that bothers me. I don't need Aaron Boone to come out and like beat up his players in front of the media or berate them. And I don't need Aaron Judge to, say my whole team sucks, but I want to see a little bit of accountability. It's okay for you to say, you know what? We're struggling right now. We have to figure out the solution, and we haven't. It's okay, for the players to have a players only meeting. You don't have to have one and then lie about it. Like, no one's going to be upset with you for having players only meeting. So I saw a clip from back in the day this morning of Derek Jeter talking to the media. And after watching Judge talk to the media last night, the difference is night and day. Okay. And I love Aaron Judge. Like we constantly talk about how we are so lucky to watch Judge play baseball. But maybe, I'm going to get killed for this one, but maybe just because you're the best player in baseball, that doesn't mean you should be the captain of this team. Because when he gets in front of the media sometimes, I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? It is not all sunshines and rainbows over there in the Bronx. It is not time for cupcakes. It is not time for warm milk and being tucked into bed. Somebody's ass needs to be lit on fire, because I don't know what the hell we're watching right now. I don't know if Judge is watching the same game we're watching, but whatever he's saying, it's not okay.
Right. Absolutely. And I really cringed and felt so awkward watching Judge give that one word answer to the reporter last night. When he asked about the clubhouse and if they're impacted by it. No. And like, he didn't do his little wink at the end when he said no, but that smile he gives, regardless of what his answer is, without the wink this time. Yeah, and you know what? I don't think you're going to get burned, Sierra, for saying, "Is he captain material?" He's had other silent captains around him this whole time, because this is the face, this is the path he's chosen to take, and it's not good for the fans. I don't know how it is for the clubhouse, but it is not good for the fans. So I'm 100% behind you on that. And YOLO, I know, I see what you did there, and it's here in my notes for Hot Topics. Like, Volpe did hit a target yesterday. He sure did. What the living F was he thinking? Did he first of all, that is how you show us that you can hit something on the mark? Good job. But how about making sure that when you're doing that fun little toss between innings on your way back to the dugout, you check and see if they're even like playing along? How about that? Um, I just can't with Volpe anymore. I in so many ways. And we'll get to that too. But um, that was just
I guess my thing is, if it's so routine, why did Judge not know the ball was coming? Like, that's something that they do every time they leave the field. The infielder throws it to an outfielder, but like, clearly there was no communication there because Volpe almost broke Judge's face, and that's exactly what we need right now is for Judge to go on the IL for something
seriously.
that has nothing to do with playing the game of baseball.
Yeah. And where his band-aid is, right by the temple, ladies and gentlemen. Yep.
So
Really,
if Judge is concussed, you can blame Volpe.
yeah, seriously. And I'm sure they went through the protocol on that last night and made sure he isn't. But the thing is, I'm sure Judge was preoccupied about what his answer is going to be when the reporters ask him if the clubhouse is being impacted by all these losses. I'm sure he's like, do I say no, or do I say no, or do I say no, or how do I say no? That must be what he was daydreaming about when he got hit. Um, so let's see, Jay, what do you got to say, ladies? Is the answer to begin correcting this problem to can both Boone and Cashman? Hells, yeah.
So
Um,
I think there's a bigger issue here at play, right? So Cashman has been a longtime family friend of the Steinbrenners since before I was born. He's been in the organization my whole 30 years of life. And I don't think he's going anywhere. No matter what you or I or anyone else says, we're stuck with the guy. And while Boone frustrates the hell out of me sometimes, I do think there's times where Boone is tied to what the analytics are telling him to do. So it's like a catch-22 with Boone. There's times where I'm like, what, why, that's on you. And then there's times where I'm like, well, the analytic department kind of tied his hands and he can't do anything about it. Hal Steinbrenner's nephew is in charge of the analytic department. So deal with that information as you will, because I think there's bigger issues at play. But either way, from top to bottom, the organization, like something's gotta happen because we are struggle busting. And I'm sorry, but the fans that are out there saying, well, we have a winning record every year. Like, I don't care if we have a winning record. I haven't seen a World Series in 15 years. That's not okay. And I get that they're not easy to win. Only a third of the MLB has won one in this decade or since 2000 or whatever. But I want to be competitive, guys. Like I'm not okay with just having a winning record. Like there has to be more to it than just having a winning record.
yes, and I mean, in some ways, it's good that they always give us something to talk about, but I'm sure Sierra and I are more than capable of talking about nothing but good things. I think we have it in us. Have we experienced it? Do we have experience on that on this show? Not so much, but I'm pretty sure we're up for the task. And Lori's being a little bit of a fulcrum for us. You know, yeah, consistency does matter. There's no doubt about it. And you do want consistency and an even-minded, person as captain. But captains also know when to steer the ship a different way. And it just and that sometimes means public facing. Who knows what happens in he might say, the F word in the clubhouse. We'll never hear it, but So that's because Jared just made fun of me for saying what the F instead of the actual word. Um, I don't know. It's Sunday. But in my head is what I said. Oh, hey, Mark, thanks for joining us. We put the lineup at the top of the show. Everyone's wondering that. Everyone's wondering why Jazz and Dominguez, who are, the most consistent and have been the most putting on the board guys. Go ask Boone.
We'll ask Fishman in the analytic department because he put something in the computer and it said, you know what? Put Jazz on the bench today instead of Volpe, who can't hit the side of a barn.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the saying? I feel like that's the saying. I don't know if it is or not.
It is now. It is now because you said it. Hey, John the Beagle Dad, good to see you. Welcome. Thank you so much. Nobody knows, Welkin. You're right. Nobody knows why Jazz isn't in the lineup. It's a mystery. And why they're benching who they're benching and what the calculus was behind that. This is why I failed calculus in high school. I don't understand the calculus of anything. And you're right, Jordan. And we all try to avoid comparisons from the dynasty years, but yeah, we need that. We need that core for energy. And I was saying to a friend of mine on Twitter, I'll never call it the other thing, this morning that I'm old. So I remember the 70s and 80s Yankees baseball. I miss that grit and the guts, because even though we went through in the 70s and 80s, I don't know that it was 15 years. I want to go back and see when our furthest stretch was between World Series, but you need that. I need that Aaron Boone that kicked up the dirt 12 years ago, it feels like, and said, my guys are savages in the box. Where is that guy? Where is that guy who was making a lot less money back then? Where is he today with many more millions in his pocket? Where is he? He's blowing bubbles on the dugout steps and mouthing things casually to the umpire. Where is he? Because his team needs that, and 50,000 people in the stadium and millions watching at home need it, and it's not going on.
Yeah, I don't know where he went. I think he probably sees what we see. And honestly, I think I'm just going to sound like a broken record, but I think fundamentals is what our issue is right now. Fundamentals on the defense, fundamentals running the bases, freaking fundamentals hitting the ball, right? It's so interesting. If you look at the players that we lost in 2024 or went on to other teams and how they're playing now in their new respective teams, cough, cough, Gleyber Torres, and just how they magically have the fundamentals down now and are being and are able to be coached. That has, that says a lot about our ability to coach players, does it not? Look at, and I'm not complaining about the trade because we got Jazz in it, but look at Ramirez, who we let go. We decided we're going to keep Austin Wells. We're going to let go of Ramirez. We're going to let go of Narvaez. Look at what they're doing on their respective teams now. Yep. Narvaez has been very good for Boston. Ramirez has been very good for Miami. He hit a home run for Cashman on his birthday the other day, just to say, thank you for actually letting me go and get a chance at playing in the MLB, because if he stayed in our system, he would have never got a shot. But it's interesting when you see that happen. It's like we have developed players for other teams, but we can't do it for ourselves.
Look what Jose Trevino looked like behind the plate.
Oh, listen, I know he upset some Yankees fans, but he had me cracking up during that series because the pettiness of Jose Trevino, I can get behind it. He was in our organization for a while. So for the Yankees to just say, hey, we're going to move forward with Austin Wells, who hasn't proved anything. Trevino has forced his way into a starting spot over in the Reds organization, and he wasn't supposed to be a starter. So the whole did he frustrate me a little bit with the Jazz Chisholm situation? Yes, but at the same time, I get the pettiness. He's upset with the Yankees, and he isn't afraid to show it. So
that's it. We broke up with him, and he's showing off his new hot date and living his best life. So I can't fault him for that much. And hey, I guess Uncle Tats is in the room. So hey, Uncle Tats. So yes, I mean we deserve the best lineup, but yeah, I guess Max does too, and for sure. And we already put the lineup up, and we're mourning it, and we're not so sure. I think all things Max is a pretty skinny guy. He needs bigger shoulders because he's going to be carrying the team. That is for darn sure. And so, all right, I have one last hot topic. But I'm afraid it would take us into Tuesday. But I'm going to toss it out there anyway. Should we be sellers or buyers at the trade deadline if we're going to be anything at all?
So as upset as I am with this team right now, I say we're still buyers. We still can turn this around and salvage the season and make a run for number 28. But the front office has to take a good look in the mirror and realize that what they're doing at this moment is not working. The biggest example right now, Jazz Chisholm Jr. He offensively, since coming off the IL, he looks much better. However, defensively, while he's not been horrible, you can tell that he's out of position at third base and he's not comfortable. You can see it sometimes when he's backpedaling or just when he kind of hesitates to make a throw. He should be at second base. Cashman went on record, went out of his way to say, I did not want Gleyber Torres on this team. I traded for Jazz because I knew Gleyber wouldn't be here in 2025. So Jazz should be at second base regardless. Third base has been an issue for a long time. And if the Yankees don't want to address that, we're never going to win anything. Now, with that being said, the bullpen is also an issue at this current moment, right? Like we all see it with our eyes. It's time for them to do that bullpen shakeup that they're actually very good at doing. So I feel like they'll figure that out. I never worry too much about that. Now, when it comes to everything else, we don't have that one bench guy that you can rely on, that one utility bench guy, right? Peraza, he's not that guy. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I'm really disappointed in Ascara right now because while Wells was off dealing with his aneurysm in his finger, that was the time for Ascara to step up and be like, I'm here. You don't need Austin Wells. And he didn't do that. So that's very frustrating to me. So there's a few issues that they need to take care of. But now we have an even bigger issue in the room, a bigger elephant in the room. If you look at the starting pitching, Clark Schmidt, he's going on the IL. Probably it's inevitable getting Tommy John surgery. We talked about this earlier. So Luis Gil, he's not back yet. We don't know if he will. Well, they say he'll be back in July, but we don't really know, right? So again, that leaves us with just Rodon and Fried because Will Warren has once again shown that it's not time for him. I don't know. There's a lot that the Yankees need to address, but I think that they can salvage the season because despite how I sound today, I am usually super positive.
Yep. And no, you're super positive, but you're also super honest and realistic. And it's okay to be realistic even when it hurts. But it's true. So I follow somebody on Twitter. And so this is from Jeff, U.S. expat in Lisbon, had a really interesting thread this morning about this very topic. And he's team sell. The chat's a little bit divided at the moment, but his thing was, let's get rid of Williams, Goldschmidt, and DJ. Let's get rid of them because selling those and DFAing DJ will lead to a bullpen upgrade potentially, and it puts a lot of pressure on everyone staying healthy because it hurts the depth a lot. But he also says that if you do that, if you get rid of those and you move Jazz to second base, and call Rodriguez up at third base, you have a better loaded infield that way. And here's his proposed lineup after the deadline. So he wants us to keep Dominguez, Judge, Belly, Rice, Stanton, Jazz, Rodriguez, Wells, Volpe, and on the bench, Ascara, Peraza, and Pereira, and maybe one more flex utility guy like Vivas or somebody we trade for. Bench would be weak, but you can't have it all. So with this plan, Rice plays every day with Belly and Rodriguez as backups at first base. Jason plays every day with Pereira as backup for all outfield positions. Peraza can play third, second, shortstop, and second base. A lefty masher, emergency outfielder, infielder to platoon with Stanton is probably needed. So that's a call for using Peraza better.
I don't think we should sell. However, there are some things I do agree with him, right? DJ should if he's playing decent right now, so I'm gonna give him that credit because he's playing better than some of these young guys, but he shouldn't be on this team. However, our captain went out of his way to stop them from DFAing DJ LeMahieu. So he's not going anywhere. But anyway, I think we should move Grisham because he's going to be a free agent next year. So you should get something while you can for him. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with moving Williams too because we're not going to pay him next year. So why not get something for him now? Because he isn't. Maybe a change of scenery is what Devin Williams needs because New York has not been it for him. And as far as Goldie, I have mixed feelings on Goldie because he was so good for us, April and May and some of June, and now he's struggling a bit. And his defense at first base is so good. Like I don't think moving away from Goldie is the answer right now. Yeah. I think if Ben Rice is supposed to be our first baseman next year, he needs to be sent in the offseason to play some winter ball or something and get some reps at first base. But right now, rotating Ben Rice between catcher, first, and DH, whatever, figure it out because he is hitting the ball. I don't hate the idea of Rodriguez being called up, though, because he can play third base and he can catch.
That's right.
So, yeah, I think that I don't know. There's so many options.
there are. It's just he's the first one I've seen lay out very thoughtfully, and I went through it really fast, and there was more, but if you look up Jeff from Lisbon, it's a really good thread. And Evan, I agree. At least he's hitting the ball. LeMahieu to me, and this is not me saying don't get rid of him. Do what's best for the team. But if it weren't for DJ, we wouldn't have had a lot of the hits and some of the runs to home that we had. So he more than exceeded my expectations because I had none when he came back.
Yeah, we wrote him off before the season even started.
We did. We sure did.
I just want to point out Jordan's comment because I think this is the kind of positivity that we all need today. The Braves were under 500 at the deadline in 2021 and won the World Series, but it took a lot of buying. Do the Yankees have it in them to make that commitment and buy? I also want to point out that when the Rangers and Diamondbacks were in the World Series, neither one of them should have been there. They both got into the playoffs on the last possible day, and then they just, baseball is a game of momentum. They hit the momentum. Oh my God, at the right time. Maybe not the most exciting World Series because of who was playing, but they did it. So that's why I don't want to give up on this team yet. I think anything is possible, but they're just very frustrating to watch in this moment.
Well, yeah, and to be fair, it's been a long moment. It's been a slog, and it's been ugly, and it's been horrible, and it's been hard to turn on a game. I don't miss a game. There's been times when it's almost like I have to do it or I won't get paid or something. Like I'm treating it like a job lately. Because it's just disgusting to watch. And, the 6-game losing streak is not even the worst of it. The worst of it is seeing the Blue Jays on top of us and the Rays biting at our butt. And so we are in a horrible, horrible position. So we need them to dial it back a bit, sister, and we need the guys to come up and figure it out. But Um, and Welkin, I love that you're using the 7 stages of grief in your phantom. Um, it's where you. I'm sorry, I called up the wrong one. You're at the coping stage. Um, yeah. Anytime we lose, I just laugh. I'm gonna give that a shot. Hopefully not today. Hopefully I won't get to practice that today. But come on, does it even? Oh, ooh, I'm gonna get fried for saying does it even matter if we win today? Of course it matters, but that's almost what came out
She
of my
didn't
mouth.
mean Uncle Cats.
Um, and Jordan's asking a really good question. Do the Yankees have any
Yes.
prospects?
Yes, they do. They do have good prospects, but it's the age-old question that the Yankees have to figure out because they have this issue where they like to hug prospects to death, but then never use them. Like, I feel like Peraza could have been successful somewhere else had they traded him away when he had the value. Now listen, I love Mr. Rock Riggio down in AA right now. I think he could be a great second baseman of the future. But if a team with somebody that I needed came knocking at the door and they needed him, I'm giving him up. Okay. If a team came knocking at the door for George Lombard Jr., who isn't going to be on our MLB team for another couple years, I'm giving him up. Spencer Jones, I would have sold his ass 2 years ago. But the Yankees don't like to do those things. So that's the issue. We have the prospects. We really do. The Yankees don't. They're bad at making the moves when they should make them.
Yep. And you know what? There's even guys that are slated for 2026 that we're starting to see. So so I'm hoping to see some more of that trickling in. Hey TC, it's been a minute. Good to see you. Boone must be fired to start. Well, yes, and would we have that power to get to just take over the castle and take over? Can a coup d'etat happen with fans? There's a lot of us. I don't know if we could, but we really just between the front office and the manager who is on the strings of the front office. It's just it feels like we're really trapped, and it's hard to stay optimistic, but that's our job, right? Our job is to believe and stick behind our team. But boy, are they making it difficult. I'd like them to go a little bit easier on us. Well, speaking of difficult, this was kind of hard to do, but Sierra, you managed to do it. So tell us who's hot.
Listen, I wanted to just give so much love to Jason Dominguez because this kid, look, there's no reason he should not be in the lineup every single day right now. I understand the Yankees have four outfielders this season, and for the most part, all four have contributed, and that makes it hard to decide who to play. But right now, Grisham isn't that hot anymore, so it shouldn't be that difficult. Dominguez should be in this lineup every single freaking day because not only does he get on base with hitting the ball, he also knows when to take a walk. So over his last 15 games, Dominguez, his batting average is 387. On July 4th, when he finally got the chance to be the leadoff hitter that I want him to be, that I know he could be, he hit 2 home runs in Citi Field. Okay. My guy was loving his time over there in Citi Field. His strikeout rate, this is really what I wanted to call out because I think this is huge, especially for a team where we have guys who are struggling with striking out. He ranks in the bottom 8% of MLB with strikeouts. That is amazing. On the flip side of that, when it comes to walks, Dominguez is in the top 75% of walks. This kid could be the rookie of the year, okay? Going into this season, everybody was concerned about how he was going to play left field because he made some mishaps in spring training, but he looks very comfortable out there. Minus that one really weird play he made on July 4th, which he made up for a lot with his offense. Dominguez looks very comfortable in left field. So he could play that average left field all he wants if he keeps hitting the ball and getting walked the way he is. But I stand on my point. He should be in this lineup every day, and he should be leading off. Also, let the kid steal some bases. I don't care who he's hitting in front of. We kill these we kill these kids who have the ability to steal bases by not letting them utilize that portion of their game. Like, it's horrible. But yes, he's hot right now, and that's the only person I put down.
I could come up with nobody at all. I could have tried a little bit harder, but and I probably would have landed where you landed, Sierra. And the thing is, he still. I hope that he still has a shot at Rookie of the Year, because he really does at this moment, have the package for that. And I'm still seeing so much hate on social media for his defense. And to everything you just said, Sierra, I'm putting it in boldface font because, has it been like this transformation like from one day to the next? Absolutely not. But if you're paying attention, it's been incremental and consistent, and that comes with playing time, and and why he's being benched. Every time you're benching him, you're losing an opportunity to move him forward. So
and he's not to mention he's just like he looks like such a nice person, and I know that doesn't mean anything, but every time Judge hits a home run, if you watch Dominguez, he gets up and he bows
I know.
every time like clockwork. He doesn't complain about being benched. He's always smiling. Like he just it irks my soul every time.
Yes.
Like there's no reason for him to be on the bench today.
Yeah, there isn't, and possibly ever. And like he's young. Don't break that spirit. That's the other thing everyone has to remember about him. He's young. He's still just learning the game. And so I think we're looking. Maybe we always have him in pinstripes because he's another one who could be a career Yankee if we treat him right and do right by him. You were laughing at somebody.
I was laughing at Wilkins' comment. He said, Volpe is a nice person. Punt him to the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, we like the trade with the Pirates, so I'm listen, I have a lot of not nice things to say about Anthony Volpe right now, so I'm just gonna
I would think that you're not alone. You're certainly not alone with your partner here. It's just they have but so Jay wants to say that you were correct about like let him steal bases. But because
I feel that way about Dominguez. I feel that way about Volpe. Even Cody Bellinger has the ability to steal a base here or there. Like, let's just, at this point, you have nothing to lose. Let them run. I understand not sending Judge and obviously Stanton, but like the guys who can run, just let them do it.
Yep, absolutely. So me, on the other hand, I had no hot. I had not Sierra. You had Volpe. I agree. Guys in the chat agree. No one even made a meh this week for us. And so, R.I.P. Yankee Hero of the Week.
Our hero of the week is the fan base, and you're in my mental state because I survived this. Like, these are some really hard games to watch. Just the bullpen made me want to rip my eyes out of my head. So I'm giving the hero of the week to all of us for just surviving.
Yeah, I want to release like a cover of "We Don't Need Another Hero" from Tina Turner. We need another hero. I'm holding out for a hero. I'm aging myself. Maybe that should be the theme of the week. All right, so the injured list. Okay, I'm just gonna read them down because they're a lot. So remember Ryan Yarbrough? Still hasn't resumed throwing. He was supposed to by now. And here's a quote from guess who? I'm sure you're not going to know who said this. Seems to be getting over the hump. I don't know. Anyone have a guess in the chat? And then Yerry De Los Santos through a bullpen session yesterday, continuing to build up. Then we have Heel. He might start a rehab assignment this week. Nobody wants to commit to that. Cruz is Cruz. This is as real as Boone gets. It's gonna be a while with that high grade strain of his, and the bullpen's really missing Cruz almost as much as I miss him. We know that Jay Cousins is out until next year, as is Cole, as is Chase Hampton, all because of you know who. We know about Cabrera and Schmidt, as we've talked about all show. Um, yeah, he's about to have his second.
The Schmidt one gutted me because I love Clark Schmidt. My friend Chris Califf, who I met through Yankees Twitter, he went to an event last year and got me a signed Clark Schmidt card and sent it to me. And I just every year I'm like, Clark Schmidt is gonna be even better than he was last year, and he was. He does good, and then he gets hurt, and it's just so frustrating. And if I'm frustrated, I'm sure Clark Schmidt is 100 times more frustrated.
Yep, absolutely. And oh, sorry, did I skip Healed? Heal maybe starts a rehab this coming week, maybe. Yeah. So thanks, Jonathan. Didn't realize I skipped over him. All right, so that's the guys that are down. Let's do this. Here he comes, and there he goes. So who did we acquire? We acquired. Well, all right. So who's coming? Who's already here or slated to be here? Cam Schlittler is supposedly going to make his debut this week against the Mariners. So
Very excited for that.
Say that again.
Very excited to see Schlittler. He's a guy that a lot of us have been talking about, and I think he could make an immediate impact.
Yeah, I think so too. And wasn't he like 89th in top 100 prospects as well? So, 97-mile-per-hour fastball, low sample size, but 2.33 ERA. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. We acquired Candelaria from the Reds, third baseman. What are we going to do with him? What do you think about him?
I mean, he's not like overwhelming, but he can solve the issue at third base right now. If he was signed to a minor league contract, I believe. So if they were to option somebody and bring him up, we could put him at third right now and move Jazz to second. And even though maybe the bat wouldn't help, I'm sure the glove would.
Okay, all right, I'll take that much. So they signed Joel Kuno, a free agent, to a minor league contract. We know Efros is back. They signed free agent Nicky Lopez.
Chicago legend.
What?
Chicago legend.
Is he now?
Yeah. No, I'm being sarcastic. He's played for both Chicago teams, but he's from Naperville, Illinois, so I'm always like Chicago legend.
Okay, all right. Legendary future Yankee legend, Nicky Lopez. So Jeff Hartley apparently took over Javier Sandridge's locker overnight because Sandridge is out, Hartley is in. We say goodbye to Alex Jackson. He went to the O's. I love this. In exchange for international signing, bonus pool money, and a player to be named later, or cash considerations. It's like the disclaimer at the bottom of a marketing ad.
Cash considerations is my favorite player of all time. So I love that guy.
That's hysterical. All right. So did you have anything you wanted to say about prospects?
Yeah, let me take a crack at some positivity here, because the prospects, in Double and Triple A have actually looked very good compared to our major league roster. So Ben Shields, Double A, Somerset, made his second start of the season yesterday. He went 4.2 innings. He gave up 5 hits, but he also had 7 Ks, only 1 walk, and 1 earned run. Keeping on pace with Double A, I talked about him a little bit earlier, Rock Riggio. So he was just called up to Double A on June 3rd. I just love saying his name, but he also is very good. He had a career high 4 hits yesterday, going 4 for 5, including the walk-off hit in the 9th, which is Somerset's second walk-off win in a row. Since his Double A debut, like I said, June 3rd, Riggio leads the Eastern League with 8 home runs and 16 extra base hits. He also ranks second since coming up to Double A with 29 RBI. So, again, either move him or bring my guy up, but I know he's only in Double A, so I'm just kidding. Spencer Jones. Remember when we were all concerned about Spencer Jones because homeboy was striking out left and right? He couldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
Since being called up to Triple A, Spencer Jones is excelling. So in his first 3 games, he hit 2 home runs, his very first at bat. And granted, it was against a rehabbing Walker Buehler, but Walker Buehler is a Major League Baseball pitcher, so it counts for something.
Yeah.
And then on July 4th, he went three for 5 with a double. He raised his AAA OPS to 1.452 over his first 5 games. So, looking forward to seeing more of Spencer Jones and what he's doing down in AAA. Because honestly, another option for us is to move Grisham, call Spencer Jones up to play center field, and move Cody Bellinger to first base. But again, I am not management. I'm not the analytic department.
Please take the job. Please take the job. And you have a point. You have a point, Jordan. He's perfect trade bait as well. But I think, do something. Do something, because the kid's finally getting things right. Don't spoil it. I hope we see him. I hope we see him in the midst of all the switcheroos going on and needed. So I've been waiting for Spencer Jones. It feels like my whole life, and so let's get him up here. I'm sure there's reason and cause to have him up here for a bit. So that's what we got to say about. Was that it for the prospects?
That was it.
But I mean, it's interesting. And
honorable mention to Everson Pereira for hitting the cycle yesterday.
Yes, we haven't talked about Pereira in a minute.
He just had a baby.
And yeah, he went on daddy duty and then he hit the cycle. Not a bad month for him. I'm glad somebody has had a good month so far. All right. So in terms of what's next,
What's next? We try not to get swept today. That's what's next.
Yeah. What did I do with my what's next? I guess I didn't I didn't put it in the slides. Well, it's Mariners and then it's the Cubs. Am I right about that? I don't know.
Yeah, the red hot Cubs who
well,
that'll be fun. They have PCA who is in the running for National League MVP, which with Ohtani existing, it's kind of hard for anyone to win that. But the Cubs are red hot right now, and they terrify me. So, yay.
Yeah, absolutely. And Frank, last minute Frank, you come in with something that we didn't even mention, but I think we meant to. So Rodon, yesterday wasn't what we wanted by any stretch. I do think that he has been really great until the past 2 outings. Mm-hmm. So kind of makes you wonder. It's a little bit like now I'm going to be wondering about every pitcher when they start a downslide because I have Tommy John syndrome. And so I don't know, but here's what I will say about Rodon, Frank. His mental energy is different. You're not seeing the hissy fits and he's not blowing kisses. And during the pressers, he's taking accountability and with a really fair perspective. So, I know that and a MetroCard won't even get us to like win an inning, but he is a different player than last year. We just need to see it on the mound, and we haven't the past 2 games when we needed it the most. All right, so we'll end with the trivia question of the week. For those of you that didn't see it at the beginning, it's Tommy John Day on the upper deck. So what team was Tommy John playing for when he had that season-ending injury and started this whole damn thing? And everyone in the chat that put their answers in, you were correct. It was the LA Dodgers. And as I said earlier, 13 pitchers and position players have had TJS when with the Yankees organization. And that includes our friend Clark in that equation. So, listen, it's been a ride. It'll continue to be a ride. Thank you for being along with Ciara and me for a ride every week. We need you here. We want you on the wall. We need you on the wall. Come back next week. Here's all our follows and shares. Don't forget the guys, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live at 10 a.m. Uncle Tats, Ronald, and Donald, you know they bring the fire. And Sierra and I are always here to fan the flames. And as always, whether you want to be there or not, you'll have a reserved seat on the upper deck. And as always, even in the worst of times, go Yankees!